All right, Samantha, hold it down. Samantha Noriega is how to find properties on the MLS. And any questions anybody has, please put them in the chat. And we're going to keep this as record so people don't have to ask you, Sam, all the time. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to do a very basic, a little bit of both. So catch on. Like I'm going to be mixing sale and lease because of the way that the system works. So just catch on, write a lot of notes, any questions, anything you're concerned, like he says, just ask me after or write it in the chat. I will try to keep up with the chat, but I'm not really good. I'm not a good techie people, so just give me a break here. All right, so first step we're gonna do, we'll do warehouse, office, retail, things that you guys are more popular doing, and then anything else will kind of flow into everything else. So first we're gonna go to COM, which is improved commercial and industrial. Those are anything that's office, retail, anything that's already built out. If it's gonna go for commercial land or agriculture stuff, that would be CLD. A lot of you get confused between those two. I personally always check both only because there is agents that are not familiar on how to list things. So I always check both just to be on the safe side. But for the most part, it's supposed to be under COM, improved commercial and industrial. Okay. Once you click this part, okay, if you're going to do a lease, make sure you click lease. I hope, can you see everything? You can see everything, right, George? Okay. So if you're gonna do a lease, you're gonna click lease. Then you're going to, this is the way I do it. Everyone, you guys can do it however is easier for you, but just keep in mind, this is how I do it to grasp as much information from agents that may not know how to list and do know how to list. So I try to do as big as possible. We can do Miami-Dade, and then if they're looking at a certain zip code, great. But I wouldn't go that route because you will have a client that, yeah, I want 33155, but then they find a property right on the outskirt of 33155 and they'll take it just because it's next to 33155. So I wouldn't go as a zip code. If anything, I would actually draw a map, which is here. Oops, I just changed something by mistake. Hold on. The map is here. And if they tell me, yeah, I want to be in Gables, I want to be in that area. So what I usually do, just to be on the safe side, I'll go here and I draw so I can make sure I grasp every little corner. And then let's say this is the area I want to focus on. Okay. I'm going to come out a little bit more so I can grab some warehouses. So you guys, I can do a little bit of both with you guys today. So give me 1 second. And like I said, the reason why I do it like this is because I want to make sure I grab even the one block away. I mean, one property, yeah, 1 block away from the property area. So I'll go here, then I go to lease, and then comes the fun part. So I personally go down here, I add in a lot of fields. I'm a very friendly person with this part. Due to the fact that not many people know how to list things and stuff, I come here and I will pick what I am looking for under type of building. If you guys see, it says type of building. So if you don't have this added in your commercial link, I recommend you do it only because this is gonna narrow down your search a lot more. You may not look at office spaces. Maybe you're just looking for warehouses. So you don't want to have 1,000 listings when you only need to really look at just industrial. So let's focus on the warehouse because I feel like that's something you guys mainly are always looking for. So I'll pick different things. I pick industrial manufacturing. I select one of those. Then I love Mac. Okay. So I'll put this one. Then I will also click office warehouse combination to have them both. Great. Give me 1 second, guys, because I'm using my little cousin's Mac. Yeah. So you can select several ones. Okay. Then I'll go here and I'll pick warehouse space as well. Okay. Then I'll click store warehouse. So I pretty much click all of these to make sure I'm grabbing. This thing is acting up. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. Sorry, guys. So 1. In 1 second. Sorry about this. So Mac is coming. Okay, sorry. All right. So industrial manufacturing. Then I'll click office warehouse. Then I click storage and warehouse, and I click office space. I mean warehouse space, sorry. This thing would work for me. All right. Once you click that, once you select what type, then you're gonna go here and put price. Okay. If your client is telling you that he's looking to pay up to, let's say, $2,000. Okay, you're gonna go 2,000 like this. Okay. Obviously not much. Why is it not selecting all of it? I have no idea. Okay. Give me a second, guys, because my computer is just not cooperating with me right now. All right. So in this search, there's really only 3 industrial. So I usually, so you guys know, I select all 3 here, like I was showing you. Then I will go to type of property and put industrial and put lease as well. Okay. So grasp as many as I can. Like I said, a lot of agents don't know how to list things. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. All right. So with that being said, we'll go back up. Of course, in the event that you were looking for a sale, you would just click sale here. If you're looking for a lease, you go here. Okay, that's super important. So you're not looking at a million things. So just a little bit about this. So this is the first listing. This one, if you guys notice, it says $9.50. Okay, it is not $9.50 a month. It is $9.50 per square feet. Okay, here on the listing, it says lease square feet, which is what is available to be able to lease. Okay, however, I recommend always contact the agent, confirm the exact square footage that is available. Sometimes they'll list 20,000, but then your client's looking for 10 and they can subdivide the warehouse or subdivide the space, then the numbers can change. As well as there's a thing called CAM. CAM is, like I tell people, think of an association for your tenant. It's common areas. It includes the real estate insurance, real estate taxes, any association dues that the landlord may pay, garbage, things like that. And it's usually a percent that they charge the tenant for. It's usually base price per square foot as well. So before giving your client the exact monthly rent, I recommend to always contact the agents, make sure there's no additional cost, and if there is, to calculate it. Okay, that's for a warehouse. Let me go back really quick so you guys can see. Some agents, and I've done this before as well, they won't list price per square foot. They will list what's the monthly gross. Warehouse usually is modified gross for the most part. So keep in mind that this is usually the rate what it would be monthly. Sometimes water is included, sometimes it's not. If they have this number, chances are this is everything included except water or maybe water. So just always double confirm. then you could come down right here and see what is the square footage for that warehouse. Okay, sometimes they don't even add this here because they don't know, which is why I always tell people, always try to call. Send it to your clients. If your clients are interested, call. Then call your client back and tell them what's the verdict on the warehouse. Either the price, maybe the square footage is wrong, whatever the case may be. Okay, that's for a warehouse. Go back. Okay, now retail space. Let's go down here. I'm going to take off industrial. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to leave lease. Okay, and I'm also going to include commercial. Only because it is a retail space. Make sure there's nothing else. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah. So lease and commercial. Then I go here. Okay. So retail spaces are usually inside shopping centers for the most part. So I would click shopping center. I would click retail. And then let me just do this. Oh my God, this is all that I want. This is not cooperating with me right now. So in this area, there's nothing so far. If you guys notice, I clicked retail space and shopping center, and I have 0 matches. So I'm gonna take that off because my computer's a little retarded today. So just give me a break. And then there's office retail. So far in office retail, we have 1. I'm going to include other building type just because people don't know. Gosh. Give me a second. Sorry for the glitch computer here. All right. And I'm going to click freestanding and commercial again. Okay. That's it. This is for retail space. So now we're going to open this up. Okay. Retail space is price per square foot 85% of the time. There's never really a flat rate for that. So this is actually an office, so it's actually incorrectly listed. Give me 1 second. Okay. This is actually an office too, but it is located on a main road, so they do sometimes do that. All right. So pretty much the same concept as I told you guys. Lease per square foot is right here. Then they have it at $34 a square foot. So in this case, there could be additional expenses, as in probably not water, but definitely CAM, just because it is an office and it's located in a building. So just thinking outside the box, the landlord is paying for real estate taxes, he's paying for insurance, he's paying for an association most likely, depending if he doesn't own the building completely. And that one's done. Maybe I should open up the map a little bit to get something a little bit better. Get more out of it. Okay. All right. So jumping to another one that I feel like you guys also ask me a lot about, and it's a very difficult industry to work, is the restaurant. Okay. I'm going to open up the map a little bit more just because I know that there's a lot more than just 0. Give me 1 second so I can show you guys a little bit. right, so if you guys notice what I just did, I cleared my search. You know, I'm looking for a restaurant. Restaurants are not very easy clientele because there's a lot of little knickknacks in when it comes to a restaurant. So as you notice, I cleared out my search and I was able to get 15 matches after taking out the price for, you know, the maximum price. So when you go to results, okay. This is a new construction, okay. So this is a lease. They're asking $45 a square foot. Definitely, you're gonna have CAM in this because it is new construction. So they're gonna be collecting to pay back everything that they've spent. Now, super important information when it comes to restaurants. Okay, if the client is looking for a turnkey restaurant, they're gonna pay for that. Why do I say that? So turnkey means that they already have the permits, they have the grease trap permit, they have the refrigerator, they have the oven. So either they're gonna jack up the rent for that because the landlord, or maybe even the previous tenant, but the landlord is the one that benefits from that. They install this, they spend over $40,000 doing this stuff. So they're gonna either bring up the rent because it is ready, or they're gonna do what is called key money. Key money is somewhat negotiable, but is money that is the landlord's asking for up front because the equipment could be there already and the client will not get that money back. So keep in mind when you're looking. So when you have a restaurant client, you need to ask them if they're looking for a second generation, which is basically a restaurant that's built out already, or if they're okay to do the built out themselves. Those are important factors. If they want to do the built out themselves, you have to ask, before showing the property, you have to ask the landlord, is it allowed this type of restaurant? Because if, let's say the guy is a sandwich shop and there's a Subway inside the shopping center, they may have a clause in their lease stating that there's no other sandwich shop in the shopping center. So don't waste your time too much if you already notice, okay, well, let's say the guy, like I said, he's a sandwich shop and there's a Subway. There could be at least, I'm having that problem right now with another client, which I had done the homework before. We already knew the guy has a vape, in the shopping center, there's a vape shop. He was a CBD distributor and we were having some problems there, but since the lease says, no, it only says vape shop, my client has been safe and they didn't have to do anything. They tried to sue them and everything for this. So keep in mind it's something that you want to do the homework before. Okay. What else for the restaurant? That's important. And then of course the terms of the lease, you guys always have to ask all the realtors, is there a minimum term? Is the landlord looking for a minimum 2 to 3, 5-year lease? Those are important factors. The longer the lease, the more money you make. Keep that in mind too. So if you can lock a client into a 5-year lease, you're gonna make a % of the total of the 5 years. So, but there is always increments in all the leases. So it is something you guys need to tell your client.
Talk about that a little bit further. How do you get paid up front and stuff like that? Explain it to everybody that may not know on the average.
So the way that works is the bigger companies, as in like Fairchild and NIA, those people, we usually get paid up front. Okay, 90% of the time you're gonna get paid up front. However, lately what I've noticed is that we're getting paid every renewal. So if I do a 5-year lease, I'll get paid for the first year up front. What is that? That's the total of the lease without taxes and without the CAM. So if it's $1,000 and that's a $12,000 gross lease, okay, I would get a 3% of the $12,000. If it's a 5-year lease, it would be a $60,000 gross lease. Then I would make a 3% of that. Now, I don't get paid right away, or you don't get paid right away. Technically, you would get paid once the tenant begins to pay rent. So if you get 3 months up front for free for them to be able to do the build out and stuff, most of the time they don't pay you up front. I'm not going to say it's completely out of the water because I just did one and I got paid up front and the guy has had 4 months for free. So I don't want to say it's for everyone, but what I've been seeing most of the time is that I don't get paid until the lease officially commences and the tenant starts paying rent. Okay. And then you obviously create the invoice and through LRI Connect. Make sure you create your invoice there and make it payable and keep a record and keep on top of it. You have to be reminded. These people sometimes they'll wait 30 days. Sometimes they take their sweet time. Remember, they have money. So they take their sweet time to pay out little, all the time. So that's for that. Let me make sure I covered everything there. Pretty much that's it for that situation, for the commission. And always ask for your commission. Oh, that's another thing. Always ask for it up front and make sure to include it in the LOI when you submit it for the clients, because it could be changed in the middle of the whole deal and you wouldn't even know, and they have every right to do that. We're not protected by the board. So if something happens, you have to get your own attorney. So it's important to execute the commission up front for sure. Okay, what else do I go over? Is there anything else you guys want me to go over now that I'm looking at the chat? Let me see the chat right now. The chat. Okay,
did you see the last question about the renewal?
I just saw it right now.
Oh, okay.
Do we get paid when they renew their lease too? Yes, you do, but you have to execute that in advance and you have to be on top of them. So let's say you do a 3-year lease. 60 days before that lease is over, you need to get in communication with the tenant and get in communication with the landlord or the landlord's agent and try to negotiate yourself back in there as in renewing the lease. Okay? So usually what I do, so you guys are familiar, I'll put a calendar event, and in 3 years I get a notification, and that's the only way I'm gonna remember. So that is something I would definitely recommend you guys to do. Any other questions or anything you guys want me to go over? You have me here today.
Yes, Sam, I have a question. As far as filtering for searches with zoning, like let's say you want to search for a duplex or multifamily zone properties.
Okay. So that would be, right. So if it's up to 4 units, you're going to go where it says residential income. Okay. That's when you go up to 4 units, 4plex. Like I said, not every agent knows what they're doing. So what I tell you, I would definitely recommend, if you're going for 4 units or more, check the 4plex search as well and kind of go through that. If not, I'm just thinking, 1 second, move this out of my way. I'm really good with all this stuff. Okay. If not, then you would go again back to this area. And then you would do, there's a multi right here, commercial residential income. Okay, that's property type, building type, sale. And again, you draw your map. As well as I would go here, I would do one search like this, very vague, go through all the properties, select them, then come back, take this out, and then go down here. This one would be under, it would probably be under commercial. But your main and type of property, income and family. But your main one would definitely be this one right here, the commercial residential income. Usually that's where they're all at for the most part.
And there was another question. Oh, no, wait. I think you answered that one, right?
Okay. What about larger 100 units? Would you use the same search? Yes, but you're not going to find much. Okay. In that case is what you call me and we go over CoStar. Okay, that we have CoStar in-house. I was gonna say in-house here in West Gables. So anything that's probably, I would say 20 units or more, search the MLS, see if you find something. But I don't think you're gonna find much. You're gonna have to probably dive into the CoStar, which is very, very monitored and protected. So you definitely have no choice than to come to the office for that. Okay. Any other questions? Any other concerns? Don't be scared.
Or forever hold your peace.
No, ask me now. You have me now. Ask away. Don't be scared.
Sam, another question they made is when searching for commercial property, you're here on the MLS. Isn't Lootnet free now for looking for properties? How does that work? Lootnet?
So Lootnet is good. You could use Lootnet. I mean, it's pretty much so far. I haven't ran into anything that's not up to date, but I would always, go in and the side of Lootnet, when you go in, there's going to be a part that you can contact the agent. What I always do, and I recommend everyone else to do it, if you have, I'm going to go back to a restaurant because it is like the most common. If you have someone who's looking for a restaurant, the first thing you need to do is inquire through there, but then just ask right there. Hi, my client is a restaurant. It is a sandwich shop restaurant, and I want to know if that use would be available for this space. And put the question, put your name, and put your phone number. I get a lot of deals. Like I sort out through a lot of properties like that. I don't have to call the agent. I don't have to wait for them to call me. I just email them. I email them through the little remarks section, and they reply via email. And if they say, yes, this is great, or no, this is not going to work because we have a subway or whatever, then that already takes out that property. I didn't have to talk to anybody. The Lootnet agents are very, very friendly when it comes to email. Let's see what else I got here.
We have Hector had asked. Lootnet is free though, right?
Lootnet is free. We no longer need to pay for that service as an individual either. You can go and use it. The one that has taken over Lootnet is CoStar. That's the one that us agents would have to pay. But like I said, right now it's very monitored with lifestyle. So you guys are you're able to use it without paying for it, but you have to come to West Gables to use it. It's the only way it's gonna work. Lootnet, you pay for it when you have your own listing and you want to be able to make it a premium so that us as normal consumers that go in and look at it will be able to see the listing. Is the only way. Only the premium people is when you can see the listing.
Sam, Jerry asked on leasing to ask for the commission up front on the LOI. I think he might have been confused. You asked the commission on the LOI, correct?
Upfront, yeah. So if you look at our LOI was created by me. So if you look at that LOI, it says there real estate commissions, and then it'll say tenant is represented by Samantha Noriega at Lifestyle International, and then it has the percentage there that you can include. Even if I don't know the commission, I always ask for 5%. Then
I'm sorry. Hi, Samantha. You said the NY or LOI? I'm sorry.
Letter of intent.
Oh, intent. Okay, got it. Perfect. Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome. So sometimes I don't know what the commission is. I just ask for 5% anyways. And lately, to be realistic, I've only been able, the maximum they're giving me is 3% for everything. Back, I would tell you 2 years ago, a year ago, it wasn't like that. But nowadays, it's definitely the most common I've been seeing is 3%. Okay, can we get a sample of the LOI? Yes, it's on LOI Connect. If you like, you can also email me, and I'll send you a copy of mine, which is pretty much the same one probably.
Put your email in the chat, Sam. And there was another question about, can you do comp for commercial too? I'm guessing MLS.
Can you do comps for commercial too in square footage? Okay, yes, you can. Okay, briefly though, because when it's financing with the bank, the way commercial comparables are is very tricky. So if there's no sales in that area, they'll go based on what the properties are renting, and then they do their own appraisal. I feel like if Dennis was on the call right now, he could probably explain this a little bit better. But that's basically how they do it. You could do some of your own homework, see what the buildings are sold for, and then see if it's, let's say, a multifamily, what each unit was sold for, and then you kind of calculate it like that. If it's a warehouse, you would do it based on square footage, what sold, based on square feet. An office, same thing, based on square feet, also conditions of that building for the office spaces. So the appraisals part of it, you can do light homework, but they have a very detailed. It's not like a residential. It's not as easy. 1, 2, 3 like that. It doesn't work that way. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. What else? Let me see. Did we get paid? Okay, I think I did. Is this the same way you search for commercial land? No. When you do commercial land, you're going to go under land. And that's how you're gonna find the commercial land. Commercial land, I would definitely use Lootnet too. Lootnet has a lot of land. But then again, you can come to the office, and your best source is always gonna be CoStar. If you have a client that wants something that night, then use the MLS and use Lootnet. But if you can hold them off for a day or two, come to the office, get on CoStar. CoStar has the most properties for commercial, the most. There's the main one. How do I sample it? Okay. Oh, that's a good question, Hector. I don't use Rapatoni. I've never used Rapatoni before. I only use Matrix. It sounds like the Little Mouse movie. Okay. All right. What else? Any other questions? Concerns? Thoughts? Ideas?
I think you covered pretty much a bunch of questions. They ask you a bunch of questions. You normally never ask that many. Good job, Sam.
I know.
And now we can use this
Rare
video
sight.
if anybody asks. But guys, tomorrow we have Pablo. But I just want to thank Sam for coming here to West Gables office, because I knew I probably would have to technical support help her to use Zoom, but she did it all on her own for the most part. Guys, keep working, keep training. Samantha.
I'm gonna give I'm gonna say this for all the managers as well. Get on the Zoom tomorrow for Pablo, guys. You guys
Yeah, everybody, tomorrow is important, very important. So make sure you're on there tomorrow. Email Sam with anything commercial related, and let's rock and roll all. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., Francis.